Ladies and gentlemen, champions in the making, there is a law in the universe more potent than mere talent, more enduring than luck, more commanding than sudden fortune. It is consistency. Power does not come in a single strike. It is forged, refined, and sharpened over time, like steel in the fire. If you want to win and keep winning, understand this. The world bends not to the man who moves quickly once, but to the one who moves steadily every single day. You must begin with a definite purpose, not a hope, not a wish, a clear, burning goal that consumes your heart and directs your every action. Without that purpose, consistency has no direction, and power without direction is destruction. Then you must feed your purpose with faith, not blind faith, faith backed by action. Let no day pass without moving 1 inch closer to your goal. It is not the size of the step that matters, but the refusal to stand still. Let me warn you, you will face days of doubt. Days when nothing moves, when no one believes, when the noise of the world drowns your inner fire. That's where your persistence is tested. That's where power is born. Winners are not those who avoid pain. They are those who walk through it, step by step, still sharp, still focused. Repetition is the path to mastery. Do not seek excitement, seek excellence. And excellence is hidden in doing the same great thing again and again until it becomes who you are. But none of this is possible without self-discipline. You must become the master of your own mind. Conquer the urge to quit. Silence the voice that says, "Not today." Your emotions do not rule you, you rule them. Beware of the drift, that slow slide into mediocrity. It begins when you skip one task, delay one plan, lower one standard. Then, slowly, you drift. Not because you were weak, but because you were inconsistent. So, sharpen your mind, feed it, stretch it, challenge it. Every book, every lesson, every moment of reflection makes you stronger. A dull mind leads to a dull life. A sharp mind cuts paths no man can block. And finally, remember this. Victory is not an event. It is a habit, one forged in the fire of consistency. Power belongs to the man who keeps going when others rest, who stays sharp when others dull, who wins not once, but forever. So keep going. Stay sharp, win forever. Before a single meaningful step can be taken toward greatness, the mind must first be harnessed with precision and clarity. Most people drift through life reacting to circumstances, letting opportunity pass like ships in the night because they never stop to chart a destination. Power begins the moment a man or woman fixes their entire being upon a single dominating purpose. Not a vague wish or half-hearted ambition, but a clear, definite goal that sets the soul ablaze. Every truly successful individual, without exception, began with one powerful idea, grasped it, believed in it, and refused to let go. The reason why so many people remain average is because their desires are scattered. One day they want wealth, the next day comfort, the next day recognition, and the next they want escape. A divided mind achieves nothing. Success belongs to those who choose a path and burn all other bridges behind them. They do not try, they commit. They do not hope, they expect. They do not dabble, they devote themselves entirely. Every action, every thought, every word is aligned with that one goal. That is the force of definiteness of purpose, and it is more powerful than all external obstacles combined. Life has a peculiar way of yielding to those who know exactly what they want. When you speak your goal with conviction and pursue it with relentless focus, unseen forces begin to work in your favor. Resources appear. People are drawn to you. Circumstances begin to shape themselves around your purpose. But this only happens after you commit to it with unwavering certainty. The world does not reward the wandering spirit. It rewards the one who has chosen a mountain and climbs it with boldness. A definite purpose gives meaning to discipline. Without it, effort feels like struggle. With it, every sacrifice becomes a step forward, every delay a lesson, every challenge a test of resolve. When you know why you are doing something, no one can shake you, not failure, not rejection, not fear. You become immune to the opinions of the uninspired. You stand firm while others sway. And that firmness attracts power because the universe respects resolve. Those who drift complain of bad luck. They blame others, the economy, the system, even fate. But those with definite purpose create their own conditions. They are not tossed by the winds of life, they build their own sails. They do not wait for a break, they become the break. Every great fortune, every legendary achievement, every enduring legacy was born from a moment when one individual said, "This is what I will do, and nothing shall stop me." That moment is not given to you. It is chosen. It is carved out by will, shaped by decision, and sustained by vision. There is no magic in success, only clarity and commitment held long enough to move mountains. The world has seen countless dreamers. People who speak of their visions, write down their goals, and fantasize about the life they desire. But the difference between a dreamer and a doer lies in one invisible force: faith. Not shallow hope, not empty optimism, but deep, unshakable belief in oneself and in the power of one's purpose. Faith is the engine that drives all achievement. It is not passive and it is not weak. It does not sit and wish. Real faith demands motion. It demands proof. And it proves itself through bold, decisive, relentless action. There is no value in belief that does not manifest in behavior. If you say you believe you can build an empire, then your actions must match the size of your belief. If you believe you are meant for greatness, then your habits must mirror that belief in every hour of the day. Faith without corresponding action is a lie. The man who claims he has faith but refuses to move is only comforting his own fear with soft words. But the one who acts even when the outcome is uncertain shows true faith, because faith is not proven in the sunshine but in the storm. It is not confirmed when all goes well, but when you keep moving even as everything seems to stand against you. Every success story begins with someone who believed when no one else did. They believed before the results. They believed before the evidence. They believed before they had the resources, before they had the support, and often before they had the skill. That belief became the spark that lit the fire of progress. But belief alone was never enough. They worked while others waited. They built while others doubted. They persisted while others paused. This is the combination that creates unstoppable force. Faith anchored by continuous, courageous, intelligent action. You may not have all the answers, you may not have the full plan, you may not even feel ready, but faith says, go anyway. Faith says, start with what you have. Faith says, take the next step, even if you can't see the whole staircase. The mind that believes and moves forward is far more powerful than the mind that waits for certainty. There is no man more dangerous to failure than the one who refuses to stop just because the road is unclear. Clarity comes to those who move, doors open to those who knock with persistence. Strength is built by those who act, even when the outcome is unsure. You must train your mind to expect success. Speak as though it is coming. Walk as though it is near. Build as though it is inevitable. Let your faith be the foundation, but let your action be the hammer that builds the house. The world is changed not by what men believe quietly, but by what they dare to do loudly in the face of doubt, the rarest trait. In the world is not intelligence, nor talent, nor opportunity. It is the ability to keep going long after the excitement has worn off. Persistence is the true measure of strength. It is the invisible force that separates the momentary spark from the everlasting flame. The majority begin with enthusiasm. They set goals. They make plans. They even start the journey with intensity. But when discomfort arrives, when progress slows, when obstacles rise higher than expected, they stop. They delay, they excuse, they wait for the perfect time, the perfect feeling, the perfect condition, and in doing so, they fail. Persistence is not glamorous. It is not praised when it happens. It is not applauded in the moment. It is the daily grind that happens behind closed doors. It is the decision to rise again after defeat. It is the choice to keep working when no one is watching, when no one is cheering, when no results seem visible. The successful man understands that progress is not always obvious. He knows that power is built in the quiet repetition of right action again and again, without guarantee, without applause, and often without rest. This is not punishment, it is preparation. All great accomplishments demand time, not because time creates value, but because time tests resolve. If success came quickly, everyone would have it. But nature demands that only the worthy hold the prize, so it delays, it resists, it stretches the road. And in that resistance, the weak fall off. The undisciplined quit, the distracted chase new dreams, but the persistent, the one who refuses to bend, keeps walking, step by step, inch by inch, season after season. They endure not because they are stronger, but because they are anchored in purpose. The man who persists becomes unbreakable. He builds muscle in the mind. He develops patience in the soul. He discovers power that cannot be bought, taught, or inherited. A power forged through repetition, through rejection, through long days of labor and long nights of doubt. While others complain about slow progress, the persistent man understands that even slow movement forward is movement still. He does not measure success by speed, but by the refusal to retreat. Quitting becomes easy when your vision is weak, but when the goal is clear, when it burns deep in the heart, when it becomes part of who you are, giving up is no longer an option. The world cannot stop a man who decides to outlast every obstacle. The mountain may be tall, the path may be rough, the storms may be fierce, but time bows to the one who does not. All victories eventually belong to the man who simply stayed in the fight longer than his opposition, who stood firm while others faded, who endured the darkness because he believed the light was near and acted as if it were already shining. Excellence is never an accident. It does not arrive through luck, nor does it depend on the moment. It is earned in silence, through steady hands and focused minds doing the same task over and over until what once felt difficult becomes natural, and what once felt natural becomes exceptional. Repetition is the furnace where skill is forged. The man who seeks mastery does not chase variety. He seeks depth. He knows that greatness lives in the detail, and detail only reveals itself to those who return to the same work with the same energy, with the same commitment again and again. The masses crave novelty. They grow bored quickly. They abandon their craft for the next exciting idea, believing that greatness lies in the new. But the one who reaches the highest level of any field understands that the path to mastery is narrow. It requires obsession. It demands precision. The pianist does not learn 1,000 songs to master his instrument. He plays one piece 1,000 times until his fingers no longer think but flow. The boxer does not invent new punches every week. He perfects the jab, the cross, the hook, until his opponent cannot survive the simplicity delivered with perfection. Repetition builds confidence. Every time you repeat a task with purpose, you are strengthening your mind, your muscle, and your memory. You are planting a seed so deep that it becomes part of you. Most will never experience mastery because they will never push past the boredom of repetition. They will stop improving when they feel they have done enough. But the elite, the champions, the legends, they go beyond enough. They polish the same skill until it shines in any condition, under any pressure, against any challenge. There is a rhythm to mastery, a rhythm that requires patience. It does not rush. It does not cut corners. It does not demand results overnight. It simply demands that you show up and do the work, day after day, year after year. Not because you are forced to, but because you have chosen to become great. And in that choice, you begin to separate yourself. Repetition weeds out the average. It wears down the lazy. It exposes the weak, but it rewards the committed. The man who repeats with intention does not just improve, he transforms. Those who only practice when they feel like it will always bow to those who practice until they no longer have to think about it. Mastery is not found in the first 100 attempts or the first 1,000. It lives in the tens of thousands. It reveals itself to those who are humble enough to return to the basics, disciplined enough to endure the monotony, and strong enough to stay locked into the process long after others have moved on in search of something easier. There is no greatness without control. The man who cannot command himself will never command his destiny. Self-discipline is the foundation of all achievement. It is the guard at the gate of your potential, the silent force that decides whether you rise or fall. While talent may open doors and inspiration may spark movement, only discipline can sustain success. It is the ability to do what must be done when it must be done, whether you feel like it or not. It is the refusal to negotiate with weakness, the relentless choice to act according to principle rather than mood. Most people are ruled by impulse. They do what is easy, what is pleasurable, what is comfortable in the moment, and wonder why their lives remain average. They know what they should do. They even plan for it. But when it comes time to act, they retreat. They scroll instead of study. They rest instead of train. They speak instead of listen. The undisciplined man is always busy, but never effective. He is always starting, never finishing. He is always chasing, never catching. Without discipline, potential rots. Dreams wither. Ideas die quietly in notebooks and minds because no one stayed long enough to bring them to life. But the disciplined man is different. He is not perfect, but he is focused. He does not wait to feel ready. He moves. He does not follow his emotions. He commands them. He rises early when others sleep. He works when others rest. He thinks when others react. He trains his habits like a soldier sharpens his blade. Every action is measured, every decision filtered through the question, does this serve my purpose or pull me from it? This is not punishment, it is power. The man of discipline does not lose freedom, he earns it. There will always be temptation. There will always be an easier option, a quicker path, a softer voice whispering for you to stop. But discipline does not answer to weakness. It does not entertain excuses. It does not surrender to delay. When the goal is clear and the standard is set, discipline becomes the engine that drives the body beyond its limits and the mind beyond its fear. It is the practice of choosing your higher self over your current craving again and again until that choice becomes who you are. You are not born disciplined. No one is. It is trained. It is built like a muscle, stretched like a wire, sharpened like a tool. Every time you say no to distraction, every time you say yes to effort, every time you choose structure over chaos, you grow stronger. Slowly at first, then completely. And soon the things that once controlled you begin to fade. You are no longer pushed by circumstance. You are no longer owned by desire. You become the master of your world because you first mastered yourself. There is a silent enemy more dangerous than failure, more destructive than rejection, more seductive than defeat. It creeps in unnoticed. It does not shout or strike. It whispers. It waits. It slowly convinces a man to lower his guard, to ease his pace, to loosen his grip. This enemy is drift. It begins the moment you stop moving with purpose. It starts with small decisions, missing one day, lowering one standard, saying I'll get back to it tomorrow. And then tomorrow becomes next week becomes someday. And soon, the goal that once burned in your chest is only a memory covered in dust and excuses. Drift is the slow death of potential. It is not loud. It is not dramatic. That is why it is so dangerous. Men who drift do not know they are drifting. They believe they are still on the path. They believe they are making progress. But they are only circling. They are only pretending. They become excellent at justifying inaction. They read more but never apply. They talk more but never execute. They plan but never build. They confuse motion with movement. They confuse activity with advancement. And all the while, time slips away. To avoid the drift, you must live on purpose. You must wake up with direction. You must know why you do what you do and never let that reason grow dim. Purpose must become your compass. Without it, you will move, but not forward. You will work, but without impact. You will chase, but never arrive. Drift does not need disaster to pull you under. It only needs distraction. It only needs delay. The man who loses sight of his mission even for a season can find himself far from the path before he realizes he has strayed. You must stay awake. You must stay aware. You must watch your thoughts, your habits, your company, and your environment. Drift thrives in comfort. It feeds on laziness. It multiplies in idle minds and unguarded hearts. But it cannot survive in the presence of discipline. It cannot stay where there is clarity, movement, and self-respect. Every day you must check your alignment. Ask yourself, am I growing or am I repeating? Am I advancing or just surviving? Am I deciding or am I drifting? The man who conquers the drift becomes unshakable. He is never idle. He is never lost. He moves with force because he moves with purpose. He does not wander. He does not delay. He takes control of time before time takes control of him. He knows the price of distraction, and he refuses to pay it. He protects his mission like a soldier on duty, because once a man starts drifting, the current of mediocrity takes him where he never meant to go, to live a life he never meant to live, and become someone he never meant to be. A man without vision is a man without direction. He may work hard, he may stay busy, but he is like a ship at sea without a compass, adrift, vulnerable at the mercy of the tides. Vision is not a luxury, it is a necessity. It is the mental blueprint that turns energy into creation. The clearer the vision, the more precise the action. The sharper the image in your mind, the faster it becomes real in the world. Success begins not with motion, but with clarity. Until you know exactly what you want, your efforts remain scattered, your time unfocused, and your life uncertain. Clarity of vision is not just about having a goal. It is about seeing that goal so vividly that it begins to feel inevitable. It is about knowing the details, not just what you want, but why you want it, how it looks, how it feels, how you will build it, and who you must become to make it real. The clearer that picture becomes in your mind, the more power you have to move toward it. Most people never achieve their dreams because their dreams are foggy. They have vague intentions, not definite outcomes. They speak of success but cannot define it. They want more but do not know what more looks like. So they chase shadows, follow trends, and wonder why their life stays still. The man with vision is dangerous because he is not swayed. He does not jump from one idea to the next. He does not waste time on paths that do not lead to his mountain. He is focused. He is intentional. Every decision is made with the end in mind. Every day is measured by its alignment with the vision. Distractions lose their power. Opinions lose their weight. Obstacles lose their threat. Because once the mind is locked on the destination, the body begins to find a way. Circumstances adjust. Resources appear. People respond. It is not magic, it is direction. Vision gives birth to discipline. When you know where you're going, you stop entertaining what doesn't take you there. You become selective with your time, ruthless with your priorities, and aggressive with your habits. Clarity cuts through doubt. When the picture in your mind is clear, you stop asking if it will happen and start asking when. Fear fades, not because it disappears, but because it no longer controls you. You are no longer a wanderer. You are a builder. You are no longer reacting. You are creating. You are no longer waiting. You are moving with purpose. Clarity of vision must be renewed daily. It must be reviewed, refined, and protected. The world will try to blur your focus. Life will try to dilute your mission. But if you stay clear, you stay powerful. If you can hold the image steady in your mind, you can mold the world around it. Nothing becomes real until it is first seen clearly in the imagination. And nothing stays real unless you keep that vision alive, burning and sharpened with the edge of daily intention. There is no force more powerful than a man possessed by burning desire. Not mild interest, not fleeting motivation, but a fire so intense that it consumes every excuse, overcomes every obstacle, and pushes through every failure without hesitation. Burning desire is the starting point of all transformation. It is the inner explosion that makes average men extraordinary, that makes weak men unbreakable, that turns impossible into inevitable. Without desire, there is no drive. Without drive, there is no persistence. Without persistence, there is no victory. Everything begins with desire that refuses to be denied. This kind of desire is not a wish, it is a command. It is not something you hope for. It is something you will have, no matter the time, no matter the cost, no matter the pain. The man of burning desire doesn't wait for opportunity, he creates it. He doesn't ask for permission, he takes responsibility. He doesn't need applause, recognition, or external push. His fire comes from within. When others sleep, he studies. When others relax, he builds. When others doubt, he believes. This is not because the path is easy. It is because the goal is worth everything. Most people fail not because they lack skill, but because they lack intensity. They lack hunger. They dabble instead of decide. They want comfort more than they want greatness. Their desire is lukewarm. It dies in the heat of pressure. It fades at the first sign of difficulty. But the man who wants it badly enough will crawl if he must. He will adapt, adjust, endure. He will lose sleep, shed blood, sacrifice comfort, and burn bridges that lead back to safety, because the only direction he accepts is forward. Burning desire narrows your focus. It silences distraction. It makes your goal the central obsession of your life, and everything else must adjust around it. This is not madness, it is precision. The greatest achievements in history came not from balanced lives, but from burning minds. Minds that refused to compromise, minds that ignored the noise, minds that believed in one thing so deeply that they bent reality around their will. You are not meant to be lukewarm. You are not meant to move softly through life. You are meant to live with heat in your spirit and steel in your bones. You must guard that fire, feed it, speak to it. Remind yourself daily why you started, what you're after, and who you will become when you reach it. Desire that is not protected will cool, and once it cools, you begin to tolerate what you should have conquered. You begin to endure what you were meant to escape. Burn for something so deeply that your daily actions are lit by that flame.